1% damage. The manifest on top of things is going to swipe all of this down, and suddenly all the gaunts are dead. What a chat. That actually might just win theory of this game. All right, here we are, the Tank 7 finals for Europe and the Middle East, Asia, EMEA, whatever it is. It's Lorimbo on the bottom left, and of course, Theory in the upper right, as we get another look at what the Infernal mirror looks like, which is always going to be a bit interesting, right? Especially this is pre-patch. There was a patch that dropped yesterday that significantly nerfed creep camps, nerfed gaunts, nerfed a bunch of stuff. So we're going to see less probably going forward of what we see right here. But for now, we're going to see Theory doing the Theory thing, which is you send imps down early, you cut down the trees, you put your vault forward, you put your conclave a little bit back, you drop a meat farm right around right there, and that gives you a couple of fell hogs to try to take the resource camp. And you effectively, again, you rush the goats, which is the goal. Now, here's the cool thing though, because what Lorimbo's doing, he understands that this is what Theory does 9, 10, 99% of games, if not 100% of games in this matchup. So he's going, and instead of rushing his own goat camp and trying to fight in the middle or something, he's actually going to rush the camp as well. And the interesting thing about this is the way this generally gets played. You have your gaunt or two, and you're kiting back the goat camp because there are 6 of them. Or 5 of them, excuse me. There are 6 on Jack and Mom, 5 on this. It's a little bit scary, but Lorimbo has his structures just a little bit faster. So he's going to have the vision camp just a little bit faster, which means he's going to have an extra fiend just a little bit faster, and that should allow him to be able to contest what his opponent is doing. Although he's actually not going to go for the vision camp. Instead, he's going to run around and try to contest the speed camp that way. But the problem is, he's just a little late. He's just very late. Now he's going to have to fight 5 fiends with 0. Now, Theory, does he want to opt into this? He is in a slow zone, so that is a little bit obnoxious. But this is dead gaunt early on, and 15 Therium, and more importantly, it's a dead gaunt. That's production time. That is a lot of power that's off the map. So Lorimbo, I think if he had contested vision camp and then run down, I think he could have done a pretty decent job. But otherwise, he was just a little bit too slow on the uptake. And what felt like might have been a pretty cool meta counter instead really doesn't turn out to be all that much. It doesn't really turn out to be all that much of anything. And this means now that Theory has first moves advantage on the middle of the map. He's sitting on 7 fiends. He's ideally not going to lose 1. Yeah, no, he's going to lose 1. Okay, still just going to have 7 fiends, but it has built himself a pretty decent macro lead. Again, by taking more camps off the map, that's more money, that's a quicker natural, and we see that going down right now. And by the way, the vision camp's there. Yeah, but it's going to get taken down very, very quickly. And yeah, no, there's just too many fiends right now. And then that means the goats are going to get taken. So 6 goats or 5 goats is 100 Therium is the big bit of math right there. And of course, Theory doesn't have to worry because Defender's advantage is in favor of his opponent, but he's going to start to target more of these gaunts right on down. Now, fiends are going to get on top of him as well. So these fights are always a little bit awkward at the end of the day because they feel like they should be good for you. But if you don't do it right, it's going to be a bit of a wash. You know, the awkward thing about this as well is, yeah, we did see Lorimbo go, and he did win that fight. He also saw an imp go right by him, and he didn't stop it. So there will be that backdoor available for Theory in the future if that's what he wants to go for. Is we're now going to see him take the health camp, which is actually really important, as he needs to get that brute to start tanking. You cannot take this with just gaunts; it does not feel good. So going to be a little bit slow on that one. And by the way, if there's any flickering, I do apologize. There is this is being cast off a video recording, so I'm not doing this. This is just the flickering right now. I have no control over. I do apologize. Anyway, you want to have, if you're going to take the Therium camp, which again is super important, 75 Therium effectively gives you your greater shrine, gives you your drops, which is super important in this matchup. But you do need the brutes to tank for it because brutes do a decent amount of damage against the camps, but also you don't want to lose the gaunts. 8 gaunts into a drop or 6 gaunts in a brute or something like that is really is what you're looking for. So ideally you're not losing too many gaunts on that one. Is Theory being a little bit cheeky there with his imp, says, I'm gonna proxy a shroudstone. It doesn't happen. Doesn't work, but it was cute. Now the healing camp is down, the Therium camp is down. That should power Theory into the mid game, or into the next round of tech is probably a better way to say that. And of course, you got to be a little bit afraid as Theory right now, because A, you have two paths open, and B, first of all, he's going to go down in 6 possible supply. Each Fell Hog gives you 2 supply, but also, as we can see, the Doombringer's there now. It gives you fiends, and the fact that they can be infested is probably a bug. I think I've seen some confirmation that it will not be that way in the future, but for right now, you have to be pretty careful where you place your meat farms. Man, sneezing is a problem. But anyway, this looks like 8 Gaunts and a Doombringer's coming up from Furious. By the way, despite the aggression that we saw from Lorimbo, he doesn't knock the vision camp down, which means that his opponent knows where he is, at least on the right-hand side, which is always going to be a bit of a problem. So we're going to see the Doombringer go on the main base. Probably, no, it's going to go right on the Luminite line. Or, more importantly, it's going to get these Fell Hogs. So 3 very quick fiends are going to get added in, and Lorimbo is not responding. Now, the nice thing, like, the flip side, the other value of this, as we will see, well, Doombringer has to pick up run elsewhere because we have that shroudstone get manifested, and that does slow things down quite a bit. By the way, there is a bug in this patch, not in the next one, not the one that's actually live, but this one, where you can drop a shroudstone manifest next to any shroudstone, next to any shrine, which means that you can actually go and manifest your opponent, which has ended many games of mine and other people as well. But I believe this was, I don't know if this was banned for tank, but I do know it was banned for EGC. So there is that. But now we're on to the next stage of the game. The third base is faster, it looks like, for Theory, but he's taking the Luminite only base. He's taking the base on the 12 o'clock position, which is great. Problem is, in this mirror, in Infernal versus Infernal, it's all about the Therium. Magmadons or Therium expensive. You want their upgrade, that's expensive. You want Gaunts. Again, there's not a ton of room for brutes. You can make them work, but again, the fact that Lorimbo has the Therium rich base, or the richer Therium base, will be a bit of a problem for Theory going forward. Not impossible, certainly not. He just might have to get some more brutes, and that's fine. It also means that he's either A, gonna want to take the double Therium set up very quickly, or kind of cut through to the right side, take a 4th base quickly. Either way, you want to make sure that you have a little bit more money. But he's gonna go for a bit of a bust right now. No, never mind. But that might be something. But instead, it's gonna be 1 Magmadon, a couple Gaunts. And Magmadons, if they trample, they go and there we go. They do heavy damage to a bunch of him. So he's not gonna kill everything. And in fact, this looks like it might be a one-way trip as the Doombringer does fall down. And there he should pull this. Yeah, he should pull the Brood or the Magmadon out of there. He eats 1, but he's getting bounced around because his opponent has extra things as well. But this is just a bit of a multi-prong, because there is a second opportunity. He's gonna drop a Nightfall Infestation as well to build himself up all those fiends. And he's gonna get them fairly quickly. Nightfall Infestation on his own units as well, coming out of Lorimbo. And that is a significant economic deficit that has now been opened up here. Third base fully mining for Theory. Third base not mining at all for Lorimbo. Now, he does lose all the Gaunts, because once the Magmadon starts walking, there's really not a lot you can do. So it's a pretty compelling army exchange. Theory loses almost everything. Lorimbo doesn't lose much of his army, but the economy is a problem. So if Theory can spend some Animus to go build some more units, if he has the money for that, I don't know where his financial situations, if he can do all that, especially if he can hold this left side base alive, it's going to be pretty solid for him. But that is a significant question. So we're looking at 3 Magmadons for 2, a lot more Gaunts, and if you get your splits right on the Gaunts, which will always be the problem, if you get your splits right, you can keep them alive. It can be a little scary. Now the question on top of this is whether we're going to see Shroudstone get dropped, because ideally, of course, if you're playing Infernal versus Infernal, this is a nice little bit of a flank. Certainly, at the very least, kills off some fiends and Notice Theory doesn't overcommit with the Magmadons. He runs them forward, he kites them back so they can ideally fight somewhere else. Or in fact, he's going to stomp backwards a little bit, but Magmadon's getting on top of his gaunts as well. And that's where it gets a little bit scary. And there's the aggressive Shroudstone getting dropped by Lorimbo. He thinks he's got an opportunity here. He thinks he's got the game. And, you know, his army is really strong. So I would not be surprised that a little bit of extra damage on the top is pretty solid. But for the time being, Theory's going to manifest his own. Try to force things back. And that Shroudstone is going to last for quite a while. But Magmadons on the back line are doing significant work. And again, the army of Lorimbo is still here. He continues to rally across. This is not an easy thing to dislodge. Now, luckily for Theory, he does have these Magmadons, and it's always a little awkward when you take fights like this. Because the Magmadon, it's like you're winning, but the Magmadons, they pop out. They can immediately use Trample, and there's no good way to stop them unless you have Trample off cooldown, so they will just chase your entire army down. And one of the most difficult things when we're talking about really playing Infernals in Stormgate is identifying when you need a backup, because you have a you can have a very powerful army. You have an army that is simultaneously very powerful and very flimsy. For example, this one is noticed, by the way, because of that last big fight, Lorimbo, he had a lot of units die on Shroud. He's got meat farms on Shroud. He's got his dragon out. But of course, the second question is, and he could afford it as well. That also explains why his reinforcements were a little bit lacking. A dragon's 500, 300 animus. That is a significant investment. That is not easy to afford on 3 bases. So you could tell that we had Lorimbo, as he is going to at least take heavy damage on this dragon and fast on top of everything. And eventually, yeah, the dragons are going to kill some, but any damage you take is always a little bit scary. I don't know if Theory has a Shadow Spire. It's kind of the question. This dragon thinks he can take the fight. Yeah, it's going to get some white health back, but this is a very, very low dragon. And in fact, it might just burn down here. 12 HP, 7. It's dead. It's absolutely gone. Lorimbo, he blunders that one. The dragon is by far the most important unit that you're going to get. It's 500 Illuminate, 500 Therium, 5 minutes of cooldown. And the fact that Lorimbo used that to kill like 10 Gaunts? I mean, yeah, sure. 10 Gaunts is probably not even 10 Gaunts, but 10 Gaunts is, what is that? I mean, 10 Gaunts is 150 Therium. Like, it's not anywhere near comparable. It is just not good, not a good decision coming out of Lorimbo. In fact, it has, I would go so far as to say it has brought Theory back into this game. Now, this is still a ton of Magmadons, and the Hammerheads are going to try to run forward, and these fights always got to get a little bit interesting, because it almost feels like your first priority is not to send your Magmadons forward, it's to pull your Gaunts back. And we saw Lorimbo did a really nice job of that one. So, well, Lorimbo doesn't have a Gaunts anymore. Now, certainly, he's going to have his Dragon out, and Dragon does by far the most single target damage of any unit in the game. So Theory's going to go, and he's going to target down all the Magmadons as much as he can. And not only do they do the most single target damage, they have a bit of a buff to them. They have an aura that says that whenever a friendly fiend is going to be spawned due to infest, it spawns +1. So, of course, it applies infest to everything. You have Gaunts as well. They imply infest. You can grab a Nightfall infestation as well. And you can rapidly start to snowball fiends in a way that is possible, but unlikely with a bunch of Gaunts. So, for now, Theory, of course, we can see he's got the Spire up, so he does have some of those Shadow Flyers to kind of buffer for him. He's going to check the right side base and say, oh, there's not really a lot there. Actually, he's got double Spire. So even more so. And I don't really see an easy world where this 4th base says up. I mean, there's still a lot of Gaunts here. But of course, we're going to see the infestation get dropped down. The fiends are going to start to spawn. There's of course, a manifestation of that Shroudstone, but that is energy that is not getting spent elsewhere, or Animus not getting spent elsewhere. The fiends are starting to spawn just a little bit more. Magmadon on the back line continues to evaporate these Gaunts. But again, the trick is that Dragon is a problem, and if you play on the edge of things, well, he maybe makes something happen. The 4th base is going to get killed, not canceled. Now, there's an infest that's going to go down, and I think Yeah, no, that was an infest on our blue player on Lorimbo from TheoRy. He tries to snowball these fiends even a little bit further forward. And as we look at this, he's got a Hellborn in here too. That's really interesting, is suddenly all of the Shadow Flyers are going to go down. I don't even know if it was the one or what was up. I think they all just ticked down to infest at the same time. And yeah, TheoRy's got his dragon, but Lorimbo's got the much better defensive fight, even with the effigy going down there. And now, well, Shadow Flyer's of his own. The dragon has to be very careful about this. It's full on HP, but okay, the ideal here is you just trade him out. Ideally, it's not 1 for 1, or ideally, it's not 1 for 5, but your job is to keep the dragon alive. At the end of the day, that's really what matters. But I'm finding myself more and more as I play more and more of these Infernal late games, really starting to enjoy the Shadow Flyer micro, and certainly now in the new patch where it only does 30 damage splash or 50 damage splash, not 150. So it's been nerfed a little bit. Shadow Flyers are going to blow up once the TheoRy wastes all of his. You can do some interesting pullback micro where you kind of run forward and bait it out, because of course Shadow Flyers, once they start dive bombing, they don't stop. They're just there. So ideally you kind of keep your Shadow Flyers in the edge of range. You move them forward as if you're going to dive, and then your opponent kind of commits to it and gets a little bit awkward. So we're going to see another infest go down. No, that was from Lorimbo. Okay, no, that was from TheoRy. I'm looking forward to the day when we're going to have colored spells. Right now we don't have that, but the ability to differentiate whose spells are whose. What's also interesting though is we see TheoRy go a little bit more. By the way, he's done an incredible job of keeping this dragon alive. Like, he truly, it has taken very, very little damage. And that is the main reason he's still in this game. Remember, Lorimbo had a massive lead. He was in a fantastic position. But he blundered his dragon. He put it on the middle of the map. He thought he could fight, well, far more gods than it actually could fight. And that's just a little bit awkward. But now we're gonna see, of course, the Devil Therium is being mined. TheoRy is gonna take the right side, which is a little bit surprising to me because that's not kind of the natural expansion pattern. But considering, of course, that has more Therium on it, makes a little bit of sense. Again, we're gonna see the Shadow Flyers go down. Not the best micro from either side, actually. There are definitely things you can do where you're not just trading out Shadow Flyers for all your Shadow Flyers for all your Shadow Flyers. That should be the goal, because 5 Shadow Flyers and 250 Therium, that's half a dragon. It is tremendously expensive. Because now with the dragon out from Lorimbo as well, TheoRy's going to have to back up just a little bit. And a shroudstone's going to get manifested on the other side. On both sides, oh man. I'm so glad I'm so happy this bug was fixed. The imps are getting pulled to deal with it, but I mean, they're not going to kill it all that quickly. This bug was just the most annoying. You could actually cast it. You can actually cast it out of vision, which is, so I could just go in at any point I want. It's not all the Shadow Flyers are going to go, or yeah, all the Shadow Flyers are going to go down for TheoRy. Lorimbo still's got a couple here. I can cast it on my opponent's main whenever I want. On the old patch, right? This has been fixed. I could cast it on my opponent's main whenever I want, and there was no counterplay, which is just so bad. But again, TheoRy. So ideally, what you want to do, he's got an opportunity now to dive on, to bomb right on top of this dragon. There we go. They're all gonna go and knock it down. And again, the dragon's dead. I don't know if TheoRy has the money for a second, but he should have the cooldown very quickly. The Lorimbo has not done a good job of keeping his dragons alive whatsoever, but his army on the ground might be just a little bit too strong. The snowball's going to be slow, but there's the second dragon on the map coming out of TheoRy right now. He sucks up all the infest. He's going to drop it down. And this is, again, where things get a little bit dicey. You can spawn so many fiends, but now all the imps are going to get infested. That's going to be a lot of fiends later on, maybe. With these 2 dragons here, I think this may be enough for TheoRy to eventually hold. It will be expensive. He will lose. I don't know if he loses the base, but he lost most of the imps at the base. These dragons are pretty uncontestable at this point. Reinforcements are going to arrive. Some Shadow Flyers are going to arrive as well as again, finally the base will fall. Some Shadow Flyers will arrive. Again, 2 dragons is so much damage. Oh, actually, I don't know if the passive stacks though is now bombs are going to go down. It's only 1 dragon now. TheoRy not quite on top of things, and well, 1 dragon is different. 1 dragon is not to the same level of strength. Although again, there's no anti-air, so A little bit dicey. We can't help but feel that at the end of the day, this dragon is, well, first of all, this dragon will, it's only one Shadowfly here. Yeah, I think this dragon stays alive a little bit longer. But the economic damage that Lorimbo has done, remember, he's on 4 bases. His opponent is on 3 Illuminite. In fact, I think his main base, yeah, both main bases are mined out. So this is 3 Illuminite versus 2. Yeah, it's 4 Therium versus 3, but Illuminite's going to be the problem right now. It's all about this dragon. It truly is all about this dragon. But I think it might just die. Shadow Flyers are not as fast. So I guess it's going to get out. But I think Lorimbo, he is primed at this point to take game number 1 in this Tank EMEA 7 finals. He's going to, oh, come on. This is toxic, Lorimbo. That's, it's just not okay. He's going to manifest the Shroudstone on the Therium once again. So not only is he up Illuminite line, he's up in Therium as well because his opponent just cannot mine from that base for a while. Eventually the Shroudstone is manifested and dealt with, but, or the Shroudstone manifestation is dealt with, but it takes some time. Now these brutes on the right side, we can see we can see where the money is coming out of Lorimbo at this point. Building up brutes are not your ideal unit. Brutes they're just not your ideal unit. They're Illuminati only. They're not the best thing ever. Oh, another dragon's out. Oh, never mind. This is the same one. I forgot about it. So the dragon is out. Again, there's not a lot of anti-air, but now the natural's mined out as well. So it's 2 yeah, this is getting really awkward because the third base of Lorimbo is mined out as well. He's mining off literally 1 Luminite patch. But I don't know if I don't know if yeah, no, there's absolutely no Luminite mining whatsoever. It's all about the dragon. So TheoRy is kind of staying in on this theory that he can keep his dragon alive, and if there's no Luminite either side, there's a world where he makes this happen, but the Shadow Flyers are just going to chase him down into the corner, nowhere to go. The dragon is dead, and this actually is going to be the end of it. TheoRy falls. Lorimbo takes game 1. Now the bottom left, we move into game 2. Lorimbo, of course, is in the blue, bottom left. TheoRy in the red, upper right. And let's see what happens here. We now move on to Titan's Causeway for map number 2, which is a very aggressive map. An extremely aggressive map. And it's a map that, I mean, good luck taking your natural. Lorimbo saying, I hate this map so much, DLHF, which is fair. The map is kind of bad. It is, well, if you like to be aggressive, I guess it's not horrible, but otherwise, it's pretty rough. It is not good. So we're going to see the meat farm rush onto the speed camp once again. Only 5 goats on this one. This is not Jagged Mod. There are not 6 goats on the speed camp here, which is fine. And again, if you subscribe to this theory, if you subscribe to the theory that your job is again to play aggressive on this map, meat farm rushing the speed camp ASAP is probably the way to do it. I don't like Lorimbo's opener as much. It's not as fast. Now look at this. There's a fell hog to tank. There's a brute to tank. These goats are going to go down pretty dang quickly. Now there's no wall. You can't plug the wall with your brute, so that is a little bit awkward. And this brute will die. Actually, you don't. Well, brute is dead. Yeah, the brute's gonna die. But again, it's not what you want. Yeah, things do a lot of damage, but you want that brute to tank. You want to be able to heal them up. And the fact that TheoRy was able to keep his brute alive is actually a pretty big deal. Especially because unless they change it, there are healing camps or healing flowers. They would go in the middle of the map, so you can heal this brute right out up. There's a ton more effective HP in this army coming out of TheoRy right now than anything that Lorimbo has, and that means TheoRy's going to try to get aggressive. He's going to scout the speed camp, realize, oh, okay, that's been taken, but I'm speedy now. I can get on top of things. I can maybe intercept what you've got. Well, for now, He's going to get right on top of the Conclave, but his Gaunts on the back line, they're going to get chased down pretty quickly by this Fiend. He tries to cut away as well as he can, but this Gaunt should die. There it is. Now we're going to see the Brute die as well, I'm going to assume. The speedy Fiends are going to get on top of everything that they possibly can. And it's another dead Gaunt and another dead Gaunt. And I really, truly did like the positioning. Well, yeah, no, I'm right. Never mind. I forgot whose color was who. TheoRy is just won this game. We got all the Gaunts. That was that. We're tied up 1-1. And it's always interesting as we move back onto broken ground. Lorimbo. I think this is loser's pick. I think the tournament format is loser's pick, so not surprising to see Lorimbo go back to the map that he is A, one game one on, and be grinded out so many game on. So many games on. So, where do we go in this third game? We see TheoRy opening as TheoRy does. We see Lorimbo opening as we talked about, where it's kind of rushing for the same camp, and Lorimbo trying to cut it off at the pass and maybe take some advantage. Now, he's again going to go down on the bottom side, but he's not going to be able to aggro the goat camp first. He's not going to be able to get infest on it first. So the way this works, by the way, for conversions, is it's not whichever conversion applied most recently. It's not whoever did the most damage. It's whoever applied infest first. So the fact that he can't go snipe that is a bit of a problem. And in fact, Lorimbo's just giving it up now. He's like, okay, you got the aggro on the camp. Which means he's just going to go try to go in the middle. And this is, again, Lorimbo didn't lose game number one. But this is kind of just a straight up losing proposition from Lorimbo, as he's trying to hit the middle of the map, but that's 100 TheoRy or 100 Illuminite on the right side. That is significant. And now the Fiends are just going to find the production structures. The Fiends are just going to find this Conclave that's heavy damage. The army in the middle of the map is going to be forced back home. And I don't think this, no, he's going to get the Conclave. That's a big deal. You're only going to be able to make Brutes from there, and Brutes are just not as valuable, but this is also a bit of a surround. The Gaunt have to cut away just a little bit, cutting backwards as they can, and of course the split was, pay attention to the splits here, they're going to be good. So the splits are going to be okay, but now tries to dive on top of the Gaunt, miss micros a little bit, runs a little bit too far forward, and Lorimbo will clean this up. In fact, this Gaunt's going to go down as well. So, yeah, there's no more Gaunt production, but a lot of Gaunts have died. In fact, this is going to snowball here quite significantly. That's a ton of Fiends, and the Gaunts have to run away. This is, again, they just have to run. I don't know if any, what's it called? I don't know if any inject has been used properly as a. And I'm a Stormgate caster. I should know what the I'm an Infernal player. I should know what the Animus abilities are. Hellspawn Resurgence. There we go. I had Hellborn something in my head. So TheoRy is being forced to use the Hellspawn Resurgence, right? Which is 25 on this patch is 25 Animus. On the current one, it's 40. But he's being forced to spend that early on to make sure he doesn't die, which is fine. And you make some of it back by just trading units out. But the other problem is realistically. Is that you don't have, it slows your roll. And because of what has happened here, because Lorimbo won the fight, kind of got that really nice surround, his natural's faster. His natural's significantly faster. He didn't have to go and commit to it. And yeah, technically TheoRy has gone and mined more, so, or has extracted more off of creep camps on the map, but not really enough. Not really a thing. So we're going to see long distance mining from TheoRy. I don't know if he thought he had the shrine, but TheoRy's got to do something. And by the way, Lorimbo is super saturated on TheoRy, and if we talk about this, Stormgate is not StarCraft. And StarCraft 16 is max efficient, but you can go and go with a little bit more, and it's fine. And these shroudstones are going to finish just in time. But anyway, the situation, super saturating on your Luminite gives zero benefit. Not diminishing benefit, absolutely zero benefit. But this Gaunt bound range, they're hitting the shrine, and that's going to kill one of the shroudstones. There's not enough energy for a manifest, and there certainly is no tier 2 available. But here we go. Okay, Fiends are going to get popped. This is going to get try to bombed right on top of us, trying to snipe these Gaunts as quickly as possible. They dive a little bit quickly. Now the Gaunts are going to start to fall here. For TheoRy, he's going to lose pretty much all the Gaunts action, but I think most of his are going to, or most of Lorimbo's, actually no, they're not, because it's 1% heal, 1% damage. The manifest on top of things is going to swipe all of this down, and suddenly all the Gaunts are dead. What a chat. That actually might just win TheoRy this game. What a Chad move out of TheoRy right there. Again, it's a bug. It's not a thing anymore, but have tools, might as well use them. So many of those Gaunts down to literally about 1 HP. And as long as they stayed on Shroud, they were going to survive, because Shroud heals at the rate that Infest damages. But instead, the Manifest is on top. All the imps are going down, or yeah, all the imps are going down. Brutes are at the front line. And this little extra damage makes it really, really hard to play. I think this natural might be dead. Another Gaunt's gonna fall. Yeah, this is a TheoRy extract. I think TheoRy has just extracted significant victory from his defeat. This was a game where he was so far behind, and now he's gonna kill the natural. His rally is really strong. He's gonna have another. Well, he's not gonna have to cooldown for Shroudstone for just a little bit, but this natural's dead. I don't think you can save it anymore. Even if you try to bomb on top of the Shroudstone right now, there's just too much damage. And in fact, yeah, we're going to see, well, the Fiends are starting to go down as well. This natural is dead. TheoRy does have his own started. There we go. That will fall down. And by the way, because of the glaive bounces, the other Shroudstone's taking a lot of damage. And there we go. Tapping out TheoRy. Makes a pretty cool comeback. Wins game 3. So this map is pretty fun, and by fun I mean there were a bunch of people on ladder that have gained like 300 or 400 MMR from abusing this map to all hell. And now that the balance patch has happened, and now that there are, well, now that this is not the ladder map, they are free MMR for me. I'm feasting. It's fantastic. But the interesting thing, as we talk about this, first of all, TheoRy's not rushing the goats. And this was played last Friday. So, no, that was the meta. The meta of rushing the middle of the map had been developed, but TheoRy's not going to go for it. Maybe it hadn't developed by Friday, but by Saturday? I don't know. I wasn't playing on this map. Question now, so TheoRy goes, he kind of walls off. He's going for what looks like something of a quick expand build, but he's not going to get the goats. And by the way, the goats have more. There are 6 goats on the map instead of 5. So TheoRy's going to make a bit of a trade. He's going to try to take the vision camp in exchange for the speed camp. But this is dangerous right now. This is very, very dangerous. There's so many there's so many fiends. They're fast. They're going to be able to get on top of things. The Gaunts are just going to fall here very, very quickly. And yeah, I think Lorimbo just has the better idea about how to play this map. That very much is the thing. He knocks everything down. This means now that Lorimbo has he has the goats, which is again 120. They're 120 Illuminate, which is again pretty. That's a significant amount. He's gonna be able to get the health camp, which is 75 Therium, which unlocks your greater shrine, theoretically unlocks that. His natural, despite this kind of looking like it's gonna be a fast expand build out of TheoRy with the wall, his natural's faster than TheoRy's. Everything is in Lorimbo's favor as we move in this game number 4. And I'm not going to say it's not even close, because that's not true. But Theory's in a fantastic spot in this game. He's gonna take 150 Therium off the map. He's got both health camps. This unlocks so much power for him. In fact, technically, if he wants to be really efficient with it, he can go and pull everything off Therium mining. Once his natural's done, pull it all down to the natural and effectively be saturated on 2 bases very, very quickly. So, now that we stabilize just a little bit, Theory's going to go for a push. He's going to take the siege camp. It's always a little bit dicey to take these siege camps with small amounts of units. There's a reason we've been kind of seeing them get kited out or tower rush, because they actually do a ton of damage. But you drop an effigy, it's 10 animus, but it keeps everything healed up and buffers it actually a surprising amount of damage, which is pretty solid. So the siege camp is done, but he's not gonna open up the middle, which slows this down, and the Fiend's gonna try to scout things out. I don't think he saw much, but of course you can see when if a camp has been taken on the map, so you can know what's happening. And if Lorimbo is checking his opponent's siege camp, he'll know what's up, which is kind of the key tell right now. So the army continues to move. Everything's a little bit speedy. There are no camps to take in the middle. Yeah, they're going to try to maximize the speed as much as they can, letting the catapult get ahead of them so they have that dive potential right on top. This army is significant from Lorimbo, and as long as he can split properly, which is, again, not always easy. The catapult doesn't do friendly fire damage, unlike an Atlas or something. You got to be careful, but okay. Effigy is dropped. Theory's on the way. Your job here as Lorimbo is to bait out the shots. And okay, so he's pulling back. He does know that this doesn't do friendly fire. Okay, so the conclave is just about dead. Shots are gonna start to be a little bit better. Scots are not really firing at the moment, and for now the catapult's just hitting the brutes, which is not as impactful. Not really. But we're gonna start. Ideally, they're gonna start hitting the gaunts, and again, they're still not hitting the gaunts here. So you're gonna have to kite back as much as you can. That's a beautiful shot, but the manifestation is gonna be there, and that should theoretically be enough to hold this. Yeah, no, the catapult's gonna fall down. It's still a nice move out of Theory. He still gets a lot of damage done, but he does have to run away. He does have to cut away here. His effigy will get dropped down. And that manifestation of the shroudstone really does save the day. But Theory thinks he can maybe do a little bit more, but his gaunts are being converted. His gaunts are being shut down, so this is not going to work after all. Theory's going to be forced back, and at the end of the day, remember, Lorimbo's economy is better. He's got more Therium mining. He's got more Luminite mining. His natural was faster. So as long as he survives, he's fine. Let's see. Greater Shrine is done. Magmadons are being forced out here, so we can see the Magmadon upgrades on the way as well. Which means that we are not... Well, for the moment, it doesn't look like we're going to see any Doombringer drop. It's actually a really solid idea from Lorimbo, because he has... He doesn't know about this, but there are 3 Shroudstones in the main base. It's going to be pretty hard to get a drop in. Now Theory wants to go for some pressure of his own. He is now going to be the one that's going to try to take the siege camp, and I assume bust right down the middle, hit even faster, would be my guess. But he does have to worry about these drops, and I don't know what the situation is in terms of static defense in the main base of Lorimbo. So the siege camp is dead, but we do have the drop going down in the main base, Attico. If you're paying... Attico, can we see the drop, please? Attico, it's important. There's a drop in the main base, and it looks like it's converted a decent amount of imps to fiends. A significant amount, actually, of imps to fiends. So this is a... Yeah. I think the pull was okay, but that's a lot of imps going to go down, and now we're going to see again the Shroudstone's going to get manifested once again. Targets the Doombringer down, so this army is trapped right here, but there's a manifestation as well, as now the natural score, the main base is going to try to get sniped, and that manifestation from Theory is going to get shut down, and that's actually a pretty big deal. Most of the imps are going to go down. the Conclave is going to get shut down. And that is a lot of production, a lot of economy now dead. By the way, there's a second Doombringer now just about ready. It'll go for a drop once again. But I don't know how I feel about this. I think TheoRy's done enough. As someone covered the map with Shroud. I don't know who it is, but the Shroud is map covered. Or the map is covered with Shroud. That gives you a little bit more healing. I think it might have been TheoRy. I'm legitimately not sure, but there's just not a lot to deal with the catapult right now. The Fiends are going to try to get on top. Gonst will fall. And the catapult actually dies pretty quickly, but there are still a ton of Fiends here. There are Magmadons as well. And TheoRy's army is just... Notice what happened. He sent the second drop off. He got too greedy. Just instead of building another drop, build Magmadons. Actually, he couldn't build Magmadons, but build more Gaunts, build more Brutes, and try to defend. Instead, he's in a really rough spot here. His army is going to fall down. Lorimbo is all in off this. His economy is shattered in the main base. But it doesn't really matter because he's all in and it's working. This army of TheoRy is gone. It's dead. It's in the ground. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. And that does mean that Lorimbo seems primed at this point. As we see the hammerhead just butting into each other. I don't know if you all saw the video that Mana put out of what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or so Magmadons all stomping at once in the shape of a heart, the tune of music. It's fantastic. This is just cruel. In all honesty, this is just... This is cruel. TheoRy here understanding that this is Lorimbo's worst map. This is the map that he hates the most. Like, yeah, this is game 5. Come at me, bro. I'm gonna win the game. So again, I do like TheoRy's opening just a little bit more. Because what that means is he can clear the speed camp faster. But if you clear the speed camp faster, you get more camps faster. Just overall, it's pretty nice for the Infernal players. So he's gonna kite away. We're gonna have a Brute out very, very quickly. And that is kind of an underrated aspect of the charge system. Much has been said about how, well, actually, you kind of get 3 units instantly, and that's different from Larva, which is not really true because, I mean, there's still build time, I guess. Okay, fair enough. But anyway, you get your first unit. You get your unit pretty much when the production structure is done. But of course, it does take much longer to build a production structure as a Infernal player than a Vanguard player, especially if you pull some bobs or overcharge them. So I guess it does balance out, but for now, we're going to see the Vision Camp aggressively taken by TheoRy. This is going to give him 1 more Fiend. And again, this is the problem. What are we at? This is 5 Fiends. I think the only camp that has been taken. Yeah, 5 Fiends. This should be 5 Fiends versus 6. It is. Defender's advantage is a thing. TheoRy's thinking about committing into this, but he's not going to. But he's got map. By having this 1 extra Fiend, he's got map control. He can go and take the speed camp maybe if he's going to check it certainly and say, oh, I can get the bubble. I can move faster. But more importantly, he's going to get the vision camp. He's going to build himself up to a... He's going to build himself up to a 3 Fiend advantage. Although, as I say that, losing the Brute is +1 Fiend for his opponent, and it's expensive. So that's the problem. He's gonna hold the high ground right now. Yeah, no, this is not worth doing. And actually, the bounce on the slow flower as well makes this very hard to move up, and it's kind of funny. I remember, and I think they've buffed unit speed a little bit too, but I remember when I was playing the first pre-alpha of Stormgate. This was the pre-alpha map. And some of the feedback you saw from people was, hey, this map feels really big. It takes forever to rotate from upper left to bottom right. And now it's like, wow, this map is so small. This map is just actually painfully small, and it's so aggressive and taking your naturals nigh impossible. So it's kind of funny how that has evolved. Just Theory in the middle of the map is winning the fight pretty handily here. All the Gaunts are going to go down. He wins the fight massively. All of his Gaunts are alive. All the Gaunts of Lorimbo are dead. And again, we're seeing the reaction is not to go build a natural because holding your natural is nigh impossible, but instead it's to maybe spend some Animus, get some more Gaunts, and get a little bit more aggressive as he sends one Gaunt back for one of the healing fruits and bring himself all the way back up to full. As I think we're gonna see a push coming out of Theory pretty quickly. I don't see any reason not to. There's nothing really else to do. There's no map objective to take. You're probably not gonna get your. Is he trying to take the 12 o'clock natural? I see a dot there, but I guess not. He's gonna try to pressure, and again, because Gaunt range is so insane, or Gaunt bounce range is so insane, he's actually able to apply a ton of pressure to the Gaunts that are pretty far behind the Brutes. That, of course, has been nerfed, but I mean, look at this. The Gaunts have taken damage. But also, look at what he's doing. He's occupying speed zones pretty consistently, and having this movement speed advantage against your opponent's Gaunts is a pretty big deal. So he's going to find that one. Defender's advantage is, of course, a thing. It's double conclave versus single conclave, but he's got a better concave right now, and he's going to get on top of these Brutes very quickly. They're going to go down, splash damage, and all the fiends are going to knock them down. And because he's got the speed cam, because he's got that speed zone, he can just get on top of all of these Gaunts, dive them down. And yeah, he's going to lose a couple, but notice he's staying away from the Gaunts of his opponent. A bunch are going to pop at once here. In theory, he has this game. Barring some miracle, Theory has this game. There's not a whole lot that his opponent can do at this point. We're going to see, of course, the Gaunts start to wail away at the buildings, which is going to splash on his opponent's Gaunts, which, again, is kind of the goal there more than anything else. He's going to spend more of his Animus to send more units onto the other side of the map, and because of how this game works and because of how this early game is going, having the extra Conclave is not really significant, to be totally honest, because you can drop there's so many trades happening that you're getting 25 Animus pretty quickly. And that means that you're building one more Gaunt than your opponent, but you're both building 3 at a time. It really doesn't impact things all that much. It's like a 20% increase in production versus a 100% increase in production, which is what you would think you would have. So we're going to see a shroudstone go down on the high ground. We're going to see Lorimbo try to break out of his main base, but I think the Gaunt count's just a little bit too strong. Yeah, some are being converted, but everything's going to go down. Lorimbo follows Theory. Takes tank MEA number 7.